Welcome back to St. Shenouda Podcast. We're thrilled you could join us.
Great to be here.
Today, we're looking into the life of a truly remarkable figure, someone whose story connects ancient Egypt all the way to modern Switzerland, St. Verena.
Yes, an incredible journey.
We got quite a collection of sources, the history, writings about saints, hagiographies, and even recent testimony.
That's right.
Our aim is really to understand her life, pull out the key things we should know, and maybe see how her spirit and her very practical work still matter to us today.
And what's fascinating, I think, is how this story has been kept alive, passed down through centuries, across continents.
Absolutely.
From her birth in Egypt to her ministry in Europe, it's this compelling mix of deep faith and really hands-on service. It touches on things that, still feel very relevant.
Okay, so let's get into that beginning. She was born when? 3rd century.
That's the understanding, yes. In a village called Garagous, in the Theban region.
Upper Egypt? What we'd call Luxor now.
Precisely. And her name, Verena.
It means good fruit or dainty fruit. Kind of tells you something already, doesn't it?
It really does. She came from a noble Christian family, raised with strong Christian values.
And her faith wasn't just theoretical, was it?
Not at all. She was baptized, educated by Bishop Chaeremon of Nikiu.
Ah, okay.
And that's an interesting historical marker, actually. Bishop Chaeremon was martyred around 250 A.D.
Right.
So if Verena was taught by him, and we know she passed away around 344 A.D.
Wow, do the math. She must have lived a very long life, over 95.
It certainly suggests that. A remarkably long life dedicated to service.
And even young, she was incredibly active in her faith, not just praying, but doing.
Absolutely. The sources mention her visiting Christians who were imprisoned for their beliefs, taking care of them, ministering to them, and apparently she even longed for martyrdom herself.
That's intense, that kind of zeal. What does that tell us?
Well, it really underscores the reality of persecution in that era. For early Christians, martyrdom wasn't just feared. It was often seen as the ultimate witness, a direct path to God.
So that deep desire was part of her spiritual foundation.
Exactly. It wasn't just youthful enthusiasm. It was a conviction forged in a time when faith, it could cost you everything. Prepared her for what came next, you could say.
Which brings us to how she ended up so far from home.
Right. The political scene under Emperor Diocletian, we're talking late 3rd, early 4th century.
284 to 305 A.D.
It was a time of intense, widespread persecution of Christians. Really brutal.
And this is when the Theban Legion comes into the picture.
Precisely. This famous legion, led by St. Maurice, known for his courage and faith, they were ordered from Thebes in Egypt.
Her home region.
All the way to Gaul, which is, Western Europe.
How many soldiers are we talking?
About 6,600.
Right.
Huge number. Their mission was to help Emperor Maximian suppress a revolt.
In Verena. She goes with them.
That's what the sources indicate. Not as a soldier, obviously,
right,
but as a missionary and a nurse, helping care for the soldiers, spiritually and physically.
Just imagine that. A woman traveling with an army across the Roman world, leaving home.
The courage involved is immense, especially given the times.
And things got difficult pretty quickly, didn't they?
They certainly did. When the legion arrived, Emperor Maximian ordered them to offer sacrifices to the Roman gods before going into battle. Standard loyalty test, really.
But for Christians.
Exactly. The entire legion, being devout Christians, refused, flat out.
Wow. The whole legion.
The whole legion. This understandably infuriated Maximian.
I can imagine.
He ordered a decimation, a truly horrific punishment.
Killing every 10th man.
Yes. And when they still refused, he ordered another decimation, trying to break their will.
That's barbaric. How did Maurice handle that?
He encouraged his men to stand firm in their faith. It's important here they stressed their loyalty to the emperor in military and civil matters.
Okay.
But they drew the line at idolatry. They wouldn't sacrifice. Their ultimate loyalty was to Christ.
So they stood their ground.
They did, which led to mass martyrdom. Hundreds killed right there at Agaunum, others hunted down across the region, Switzerland, Italy, Germany.
And Verena saw this.
Yeah.
Witnessed it all.
She was there. A direct witness to this incredible display of faith and sacrifice. It must have left a profound mark on her.
You'd think after seeing something like that, maybe you'd want to just disappear, find safety.
But that wasn't Verena. If anything, it seems to have strengthened her resolve.
So what did she do?
She traveled onwards, went to Agaunum, where many were martyred, and then settled near Solitude,
which is modern-day Solitude in Switzerland.
That's the place. And there, she chose the life of a hermit.
Living in a cave.
Yes, withdrawing to a cave, dedicating herself to, well, intense asceticism, that life of strict self-discipline, prayer, fasting.
Wow. How did she support herself?
She did handiwork, apparently,
Yeah.
and a kind Christian woman would sell it for her.
But she wasn't totally isolated, right? You mentioned her practical side earlier.
Absolutely not isolated from need. The sources say many healing miracles happened through her prayers. But what's really unique, I think, is her practical focus. She specifically helped young girls, teaching them about chastity, but also, and this is amazing for the time, about basic hygiene, personal cleanliness.
Hygiene. In the 3rd or 4th century, that's unexpected.
It really is. And she cared for the sick, especially those with leprosy, washing their wounds, applying ointments, no fear of infection, just pure compassion.
That's revolutionary.
Yeah.
Caring for lepers directly.
Centuries ahead of her time in some ways. A real understanding of practical care alongside spiritual devotion.
Such a reputation must have attracted attention, though. Not all good, I imagine.
You're right. Her holy life and the miracles drew the notice of the local governor. She was actually arrested and imprisoned.
Oh, no.
But even in prison, she found strength. The story goes that St. Maurice, the martyred legion commander, appeared to her.
Really?
Yes, comforting her, encouraging her to stay strong in her faith.
And how did she get out?
She ended up healing the governor himself from some illness, miraculously, and he released her.
Wow. So her faith brought both trouble and deliverance.
It seems so. But she wasn't seeking fame. In fact, the sources say she wanted to escape the vain glory of the world, the attention her miracles brought.
So she moved again.
She did. She sought even more solitude. Moved to an island where the Aar and Rhine rivers meet.
Still caring for the sick and needy.
Yes, living in a small hut, continuing her work, though apparently she had to leave that spot because of, well, snakes and scorpions.
Good reason to move. Where did she go then?
She ended up in Zurzach, also in Switzerland, in the canton of Aargau, found a place near the Church of the Virgin St. Mary.
And the local priest recognized her holiness.
He did. He entrusted her with caring for the local poor and sick. So she continued that unique ministry spiritual guidance, but also that very practical focus on cleanliness and nursing.
Did everyone appreciate her work?
Not always. There were stories of envy, plots by other servants, but apparently her innocence was always proven.
And she spent her last years there.
Her final 11 years were spent back in solitude, in a cave near Zurzach. Still a beacon of devotion, people sought her out for counsel and blessings right to the end.
An incredible life of service and endurance. So how did her earthly journey end?
The accounts describe a very peaceful, even beautiful departure.
Oh.
As her time drew near, it said the Holy Virgin St. Mary herself appeared to her in the cave.
A Virgin Mary.
Yes, accompanied by other virgins, speaking to Verena about eternal life, the joys of paradise.
How did Verena react?
With deep humility. She felt unworthy, apparently saying something like, "I'm not worthy for the mother of my Lord to come to me."
Wow.
But the Theotokos, that's the term for Mary, meaning God-bearer, reassured her, saying she'd come to reward her faithfulness and service to Christ.
That's beautiful.
The cave reportedly filled with the scent of incense, a holy atmosphere, and in that peace, Saint Verena passed away.
What a serene end to such a dynamic life. And her legacy. It certainly didn't end there.
Not at all. She was buried with great honor. A church, a convent were built in her name there in Zurzach, Switzerland. She became the patron saint of the town.
And that image of her, you see it sometimes.
Ah, yes, the iconography. It's very distinctive, isn't it?
The comb and the jug.
Exactly. Holding a double comb in one hand, a water jug in the other, symbolizing her teaching on cleanliness and her care for the sick.
And that's still relevant today.
Amazingly, yes. That image actually forms the coat of arms for the city of Staffa in the canton of Zurich. Her practical legacy is literally embedded in their civic identity. She basically introduced hygiene to the region.
That's incredible, her impact reaching across centuries like that.
And it's not just Switzerland. Her influence is global now.
Right, you mentioned her relics traveling.
Yes, in recent decades, parts of her relics have returned to Egypt. Pope Shenouda III consecrated the first Coptic church in her name in Cairo back in 1994.
Wow. Full circle, in a way.
And in 2004, relics were brought to the U.S. to Coptic churches in California, Anaheim, and Orange. They have shrines dedicated to her now.
So her presence is felt far beyond Europe.
Definitely. She even pops up in 19th century literature, believe it or not, as a model of patience in a novel called The Heir of Redcliffe.
No kidding. And her feast day.
Commemorated September 14th in the Coptic Church and September 1st by the Eastern Orthodox and Roman Catholics.
And it's not just historical memory, is it? You mentioned a modern story, too.
That's right. A fascinating anecdote from 2015. A woman named Tante Samira, who was quite unwell.
Yes.
She described having a visitation on the eve of the Feast of Nativity. She saw Saint Verena first, who then introduced her to Saint Verena,
Wow.
and she received a blessing. She described a beautiful fragrance, feeling oil on her forehead. It suggests her intercession, her spiritual presence is still very much active today. People still feel connected to her.
That's quite powerful.
Yeah.
So bringing it all together,
Yeah.
listening to this incredible story, what does it mean for us? How can we, learn from her life today?
That's the key question, isn't it? There's so much. First, I think, is her courage in conviction.
Standing firm.
Absolutely. Whether facing persecution, traveling with that doomed legion, witnessing those horrors, enduring prison, she didn't waver in her core beliefs.
It wasn't loud or showy, maybe, but just consistent.
Exactly. It reminds us that standing firm doesn't always mean shouting the loudest. Sometimes it's just quiet, unwavering adherence to what's right, even when it's tough.
Yeah, that hits home. When things get uncomfortable or maybe unpopular, are we willing to hold on to our principles like she did? That's a challenge.
It is. And then there's her compassion and selfless service.
Especially with the sick, the lepers.
Right. At a time of huge stigma and fear, she didn't just feel sorry for them. She got her hands dirty, literally. Washed their wounds. That's profound, practical love.
It makes you think, who are the lepers today? Who are the people we might hesitate to help or situations we avoid because they're uncomfortable? Her example really pushes us to overcome those fears and offer that kind of fearless, hands-on care.
A vital lesson. Then there's her practical wisdom, that focus on hygiene.
Yeah, it's still surprising in a way.
Yeah, but so powerful. In our complex world, it reminds us that sometimes the most basic foundational things have the biggest impact. She understood holistic care, body and soul.
It's a great point. Maybe we overcomplicate things sometimes. Simple, consistent, practical care can be revolutionary.
Right.
What basic things might we be overlooking?
Good question. And linked to that maybe is her humility.
Actively avoiding fame, seeking solitude.
Yes, wanting to escape the vain glory, the praise, choosing service over the spotlight. It teaches us about motive, doesn't it? Serving a higher purpose, not just for recognition.
That's tough in our world today, with social media and everything demanding attention.
It really is.
It makes you check your own heart. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Is it for show or out of real conviction and love? Her life suggests true impact often happens quietly.
Well said. And finally, I'd say her endurance.
She lived a long life, faced challenges, plots,
And kept going. That final decade plus in the cave, maintaining her devotion. It speaks to perseverance, doesn't it? Sticking with our commitments, even when it's hard, even when we face opposition. True service, true spiritual growth takes sustained effort.
What an amazing life. Saint Verena, truly ahead of her time. Missionary, nurse, hermit, teacher. This blend of deep faith and such practical action is just incredible.
It really is.
Her story really drives home that faith isn't just about big moments, but about those steady, quiet acts of kindness and practical help that really change lives.
Indeed. Her life shows that being, informed by faith isn't just about knowing things. It's about seeing how those ancient virtues can light up our own challenges today. It's about a faith that acts, that tries to ease suffering and lift people up.
So as we finish up thinking about St. Verena's journey, maybe the question for all of us is this. What small, practical act of care, what quiet stand of conviction might you be called to today? Something that maybe like St. Verena's work could ripple outwards and leave a lasting legacy.
A powerful thought to leave with.
Thank you so much for joining us on St. Shenouda Podcast. We hope St. Verena's story inspires you, maybe encourages you to find new ways to live out your own good fruit.